Tonight's RPM is a 40-minute special on the 21st Donegal International Rally, a titanic battle between Ireland's rallying giants over the classic stages in the northwest for round 3 of the Dunlop Tarmac Rally Championship. We move into new territory for day 1 of the shell-unleaded Donegal International Rally, the beautiful Inishowen Peninsula. It will be a high-speed opener with 6 stages on the scenic Inishowen 100 route, the most northerly part of Ireland. But first, the traditional send-off from the Mount Errigal Hotel in Letterkenny, where the Emerald Band, dressed in blue as always, are playing McNamara's band. Kenny McKinstry and Robbie Philpott are number 1 in the Caliber Subaru, and the reigning Dunlop Tarmac champions will open the action. Honeycomb Michelle waves off the similar Tough Match Subaru with Bertie Fisher and Rory Kennedy aboard. Behind the Subaru Summit, it's the Tom Hogan Tipperary Crystal Toyota GT4, driven by Austin McHale and Dermot O'Gorman. Then the 1991 winners, James Cullen and Ellen Morgan, who have the 4 Lanterns Tony Kelly cars 4-wheel drive Cosworth for the defence of the Donegal crown. This is James' first taste of 4-wheel drive, and the RED prepared car should have the speed to match the Japanese supercars. John Price is at number 5, and the championship leader Frank Maher at number 6. This pair are still riding high in their Duckham's 2-wheel drive Cosworth after their Circuit of Ireland victory. Number 7 is Andrew Nesbitt and Brian Murphy in the Philip White Tyres Metro. And Alistair McRae is the top Group N seed in the Shell Scholarship car. Then it's Stephen Emerson, who is one of those aging Manta 400s, Liam McCarthy in the Metro 6R4, James McDade, another local driver, in his BMW, and Ken Colbert, who lines up before the run-out to Inishowen.
Stage 1 starts at Muff and runs right across Scalp Mountain to Buncrana. The Friday stages are frighteningly fast. Some say too fast. We join the action in the twisty bits shortly after the start in Muff.
Crest 80, 5 left, and turn.
We're now in the Caliber Subaru with Robbie Philpott on the notes. Although there are 28 stages ahead, McKinstry is determined to set a blistering pace from the word go.
40.
There's a lot at stake for the Banbridge driver. His Circuit of Ireland retirement was a bitter pill to swallow. He wants to keep his current dominant role in Irish rallying. He's 9 seconds quicker than anyone on the first stage. Bertie Fisher has done more preparation than anyone for this event. A test program that has brought him to 4 national rallies to test different components, 3 of which he has won. He may be initially slower than McKinstry, but both are setting a blistering pace. The slower Subaru is still 6 seconds faster than Austin McHale. Austin is really trying in the Toyota and has a close one here. For James Cullen and Ellen Morgan in the 4 Lanterns Cosworth, it's a steep learning curve in the new car. But it's an indication of the Letterkenny man's talent that he equals McHale's time on the first stage. Frank Maher sets 5th fastest time. You can't imagine a 2-wheel drive Cosworth going any faster. Andrew Nesbitt is the fastest of the Metros, just 2 seconds quicker than John Price. David Greer in the Champion Crisps Cosworth has been delayed at the start as he wasn't wearing his driving gloves. Alistair McRae had a spin, but he's still the fastest Group N runner. The whistle is for Stephen Emerson. A forestry rally expert who's bringing a lot of that sideways technique to the tarmac. Liam McCarthy hasn't done a recce, as these pictures from Gerard McLaren show. Further down the stage, James McDade catches the Metro, which isn't quite sure where it should go next. But he's got minor problems compared to Kenny Colbert. Gerard McLaren's camera catches the Dungannon driver's difficulty. George Robinson passes, but the Metro is well and truly stuck. Bob Biden is next through. At last, Kenny's clear. There's virtually no damage to the 6R4. Almost 2 minutes have been lost on the very first stage. Garth McCartney is another to get caught and captured by Gerard's camera. But that's hereditary McCartney skill. He's Desi's son. Saves the day.
On stage 2, part of which is the main road between Buncrana and Carndona, things get really fast. We are sitting for minutes at a time on the rev limiter. That means 120 miles an hour plus.
4 left. Repeat, 4 left. 60. 1 left, 63 right. 80. Right and long crest, 100 or 500. Right on. Crest, 80. Turn 6 left.
The 90-degree left-hander ahead is a moment's respite. But then it's back to the quick stuff, and now on a narrow, bumpy bog road.
100. 1 right, 100.
The top crews have serious worries about running their engines at such speeds for so long. But the pace is so hot at the front that they can't afford to ease and let a rival pull away.
Into 1 left over jump, into 2 right, 100. Bumpy into jump, 60. 4 left. Repeat, 4 left.
Bertie Fisher is now pulling back time. He is 7 seconds quicker than McKinstry on this stage. Austin McHale has edged 2 seconds ahead of James Cullen. And James is having a high-speed lesson on how to adapt to four-wheel drive. Here's another impressive learning curve, Andrew Nesbitt. He's in 6th position. And George Robinson can always be expected to entertain.
By the end of the first loop of stages, McKinstry's early advantage is evaporating. Bertie Fisher has now closed his lead down to 1 second. Nearly gets this second junction wrong. But Frank Maher is the quickest of all on this fast stage, helped by a high diff, but not this overshoot. He's now 4th. Austin McHale is ahead of him in 3rd place. James Cullen in the Four Lanterns car, 5th. Andrew Nesbitt leads the Metro Brigade by 10 seconds. With John Price next in 7th place. Alistair McRae leads Group N from Garth McCartney's two-wheel drive Cosworth. Gabriel Snow's similar car, as you can see, is really trying. This, incidentally, is Kieran McAnallen, Mr. Tough Mac, the sponsor of Freddie Fisher's car. Dave Crockett seems somewhat lost. He's only yards from the end of the stage and some help from his service crew, and he manages to freewheel to the end as class rival Tommy MacDonald goes through. That's Hugh Steele, another member of the McRae clan. He's in a spot of bother, not the sort of thing that Jimmy would approve of. But their troubles are minor compared to Connie Smith. He won't be tuning up this Thursday.
We took the bank just up round the corner with the left wheel and seemed to have damaged something on the steering, but it didn't feel too bad until I came down here. I was flat in fourth gear and she just wouldn't turn into the corner, and that was it. There was no...
The car's wrecked, but what about yourself?
We're okay, just a sore arm, sore neck, but we're okay.
And what about the co-driver?
He's okay, he just hurted his ankle, but it's only minor.
What sort of speed did it happen at?
Close to one, that had to be, you know, because we were flat in fourth gear. And that's
just no steering whatsoever?
No steering, it wouldn't just turn in, and that was it.
May have lost his car, but not his sense of humour.
Don't damage it now.
With the first loop of the Inishow and Oil sponsored stage is complete, the Subaru Summit predictions are coming through.
I think there's 1 second between Kenny and I.
Who's in front?
Kenny.
Who's back here?
By 1 second.
I started wondering what the hell's going on.
A second's not a lot, Kenny.
No, I would say if we can hold a second, it'll be all right. Like, but tomorrow's the big day, and the Kindrum fan at no stages. Like, this moment in time, it's nothing really.
Stages are very quick, you know. That last one there is best part of a 4 mile straight. So we're just going at 8-1, 8-2 and just flipping off. Try and spare the car, because I think this sort of straight you just blow up an engine really.
James Cullen is only 22 seconds behind the leaders. There's still a long way to go.
70 turn square left.
Rory Kennedy roars out the descriptive notes on stage 4.
70.
And the attack is on again.
Right over crest. 100 easy left. 50 crest. 30 turn square left. And left. 100. Crest. 100. Right max, keep in. And left over crest. And very fast right. And slight left. And right over crest. 100 easy right. 100 left at shed.
It's frightening stuff. Austin McHale now looking much more at home in the Toyota, but he's having gearbox problems, and he just can't quite match the Subarus. James Cullen is highly impressed with the RED Cosworth, and he's beginning to realise its potential, but a big disappointment is nigh. That other Donegal top runner, James McDade, has had an expensive rebuild since the hills of Donegal. Ken Colbert lifts a wheel in his efforts to make up time. And here's Johnny Milner, the English Peugeot driver, who, as expected, is quick.
We're back on that main Cardona road for stage 5, so fasten your seatbelts for some ton-up motoring.
Right after lay-by.
Frankly, the top crews aren't amused by these motorway stages. They feel it puts unnecessary strain on both engines and cars.
And dip. And keep
The
right
cars
over
are
crest.
travelling flat in top gear for miles at a
100,
time, with
right
only
over
the rev
crest.
limiter protecting them from a blow-up.
200 crest after sign.
Sadly, it proves too much for James Cullen's Cosworth. The 1991 winner will not reach the end of the stage. He's not the only one to suffer.
McKinstry still leads, but only just, as the two Subarus have been swapping times all day. Out of the 6 Inishowen stages, they will split the honours, with Bertie getting this one by 1 second. The Subaru's advantage is not just power, but their ability to mop up the bumps, as we see clearly in this slow motion footage. The Toyota is undoubtedly fast, but does not handle the bumps so well. And Frank Maher, even with the greater top speed in the Cosworth thanks to that high differential, can't match the all-round superiority of the Japanese supercars. No matter how he tries. Stephen Emerson is having a great day, and he lies in 5th place overall. John Price has moved up to 6th in the glorious sounding 6R4. And David Greer, with Michael Reed on the pace notes, is in 7th place. Alistair McRae now leads Group N by 58 seconds, ahead of Gabriel Snow, the Dungannon driver, who is making a big impression.
The Saturday stages are the more traditional Donegal fare. In the morning, there's the classic Fanad Peninsula loop of Kindrum Lake, Fanad Head and Knockalla, both loved and feared by the drivers. For Bertie Fisher, the Fanad stage has been his downfall on 3 occasions, and Austin McHale does not have many happy memories of Knockalla. Tamney Village is a favourite spot on the Kindrum Lake stage, and as always the hordes gather to soak up the sunshine and the action. They'll not be disappointed.
Time is tight. Kenny has chosen a soft compound tyre, which will prove to be a mistake. Bertie is now on maximum attack. He will take 15 seconds out of McKinstry here to go into the lead. Former winner Austin McHale is going fine in the Toyota. And then it's Maher at 11 tenths. It's fun to watch, but it's very costly in time. Emerson in the ex-Bill Connolly car is mighty impressive. But he will drop places today. Price was only 1 second behind the Manta overnight. In fact, only 25 seconds separate 5th to 9th positions. 7th is David Greer. 8th, the Group N leader, Alistair McRae. And 9th place, Andrew Nesbitt, is back there due to road penalties. Gabriel Snow is 2nd in Group N, but sadly he will shortly hit troubles. Bob Farden should be up there in Group N, but gearbox problems have slowed him to 4th in the group. And John McGaffin lies 5th in the category. Stephen Price lies 2nd only to Johnny Milner in Class 6. Following Connie Smith's demise, Brian Corey now has taken over the Mark II Escort Entertainment Club. PJ Gillespie was an early class leader, but rear suspension problems have intervened. And Donald Bones has a problem. The direction arrow has moved, confusing the Class 3 leader.
Where's the arrow for me?
But Ian Greer manages to leave Tamney in the right direction.
Now out for that Bannock stage. McKinstry leads on the road. Fisher is leading the Shell unleaded Donegal International Rally. Bannock has been Fisher's bogey stage in the past, and he starts his dreaded test with a very positive attitude. It's an attitude that will pay off handsomely as he pinches another 11 seconds here. McHale is dropping time due to gearbox problems. He also has to keep an eye on the hard-trying Maher behind him. Johnny Milner is pedal to the metal in the Group A 205. Vincent Whelan has joined the ever-increasing number of clubmen who equip themselves with Metros. George Robinson is running surprisingly far down the field. And Tommy MacDonald comes scurrying over the hill in his Sunbeam as we move on to Knockalla.
The danger sign on Knockalla Beach isn't visible from the road, but drivers don't need to be reminded that ahead now lies one of the most awesome tests in European rally.
1, go. 100 long right. 150. Keep right. For long left. 70 crest and right. 150.
Coming up is the dangerous left-hander on the Woodchester Bank sponsored stage.
150. Open right and right.
It's safely negotiated.
150.
But now it's on up over the hill, and ahead are those fresh air bends.
And left. Keep right for left. 50. Long easy right. Keep in and keep left over big crest. 50 right.
This stuff is not for the faint-hearted.
50 slight right. 50 long easy right at lay-by. 50 dip and easy right.
This is the corner where McHale crashed 3 years ago. This time he's fine, but Knockalla will bite the Dubliner again when he has a 120-mile-an-hour spin towards the end of this stage the second time through. It's hard to realise that this is only the second time that Frank Maher has competed at the Donegal International. He can't match the four-wheel drive cars, but he's pulling ahead of the Metros. Stephen Emerson reminds us of the sights and sounds of the Manta years. And he gives us a superb demonstration of tail-out motoring. John Price has been coming to Donegal for over a decade, and somehow this seems to be one of his finest drives. It's Johnny Milner's first visit, but it's very impressive. Further down the Woodchester-Knockalla stage, the intense battle continues. But the first Fannet loop has been a disaster for McKinstry. In 3 stages, he's gone from a 3-second lead to a 35-second deficit. It's an advantage he can't afford to give to somebody like Fisher. Bertie negotiates this chicane beautifully, but the next run over Knockalla, this little pile of tyres nearly spells disaster for the Tough Mac car.
And right. And left. 70 right.
The Subaru was launched onto 2 wheels, but fortunately landed on all 4. Back to the present. Austin is now 1 minute 22 seconds behind the leader. Frank Maher is a further minute down in 4th place. But the real battle is for 5th place. Andrew Nesbitt now leads a group of 4 cars who are only separated by 29 seconds. His pursuers are John Price, David Greer, and Stephen Sideways Emerson. Gabriel Snow kisses the tyres, but is still second in Group N, whereas Garth McCartney, his pursuer, has dropped time due to power steering problems, and Johnny Milner, just look at this for the quick ray round the chicane. All with a little help from the handbrake. But for spectacle, it's hard to beat the old escorts. Tony Green has the barbecue fully turned on. And George Robinson's Ford-engine Toyota is about to expire. Seamus O'Connell's having great fun in his G3 Escort and leading his class. But George Robinson's fun is over for the weekend.
The second time over Kintrum stage is no dummy run. Kenny has a new set of Dunlops. He must reduce the gap. So we're treated to some vintage rallying from the racers up front. McKinstry, it's not been a good morning, but for James Cullen, a year's preparation has gone down the drain.
It came so unexpectedly. The car was going perfect one minute, we were settling into it nicely, just bringing it on the pace, and what I wanted to do was settle in behind the leaders yesterday and get the feel of the car, and obviously the real rally, as it turned out. The attack has all come this morning down in Fanad once again. A lot of businesses from home here have all come together to make this possible, to hire a proper Group A car, a real good car. The car was great up to that, but you know, there's the old saying, that's rallying, what can you do about it? It happened.
The Republic's Minister of Sport, Liam Aylward, was a welcomed guest among the crowds at the Milford service.
I think it's the single biggest occasion of the year, and obviously that's important for the local economy and the local community as well.
Well, we're unique in Ireland that we can close public roads for rallying, which should give us a very big marketplace in the world to attract even larger events than this. Do you think there would be any future in the government looking into the possibility of this for future development?
Well, I think by my presence here, it might indicate that I would be looking at this favourably in the future. I also served as a member of a local authority myself for a long number of years in my own county, and I always insisted that we should make our roads available. I think we should work out some national plan, and it's something that I will be looking into for the future.
Austin McHale doesn't need a national plan right now, nor a medical plan. His co-driver, Dermot O'Gorman, explains.
Coming down Knockalla, there's a bad dip, which we have in the notes, of course, and but we seem to come into it a bit too quick. We're flat in six, it's about 115, 180 miles an hour, and just caught the edge of the dip, and back of the car jumped out, and we went spinning down the road and took a few hedges over. And
you're smiling about it now. It can't be funny,